everybody, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Symphonic Rain. So before we start, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below because that would mean the world to me. And after this video is over, if you would like to give this video a like, that would be great too because it tells me that you want to see more. Alright, now let's get in. Then let's meet in front of the trattoria when you get off work. I'd be mistaken for a customer if I entered. Good point, but if it rains particularly hard, feel free to come in. I'll let everyone know. Okay then, see you tonight. See you. We made plans and exchanged our goodbyes at the crossroads between my house and the trattoria. After watching her disappear into the distance, I went home. Ah, welcome back! You're early today. It's Wednesday after all. I wiped the raindrops from my hair with the towel and went inside. But aren't you a little early despite that? We're going to practice again later today. After foul shift is over? Yup. Huh, you're with her all day. We don't have much time left after all. And after that? After that? Will your lifestyle change? Well, of course it will change. No, that's not how I meant it. Then what did you mean? Will your time spent with Fal change? We can't avoid change, I suppose. I'm not sure how to put it. There won't be any need for practice after the recital. So, that will be the end of your relationship? I don't know. I don't think so, at least. Okay, I just wanted to know. Why's that? Just because there's no need for you to understand. If you put it like that, I'm only getting more curious. More importantly, shouldn't you be resting for a while? Rest? Just take a nap or something. Though I don't doubt you take a nap even without me telling you to. How rude. But, well, I've practiced a lot already, so some rest is definitely welcome. Even though Fal is working her behind off? Just kidding! Everyone is different! Just do things at your own pace. Well, thanks. I guess I'll go to bed then. Okay, sleep well. It's pretty unusual for you to tell me to go to sleep. I guess, but it's nice sometimes, right? By Forney's recommendation, I stripped off my clothes and laid down on my bed. Due to my continuous rehearsals lately, I felt considerably tired. I buried my face into my pillow and began feeling drowsy before long. I asked Forney to wake me up in 30 minutes before the appointed time, then quickly lost consciousness. You sure can sleep long. And you sure look happy. I had the feeling I heard a voice in the distance. But that's great! You finally found someone who will be by your side. Now I won't have to worry when I... Oh, this is so pretty. Forney? Oh, you're awake! Did you say something just now? Nope! Anyway, it's almost time. That late already? Oh, she's gonna disappear, isn't she? Oh no, how sad. I got up energetically to try and shake off the sleepiness and nearly knocked Forney, who had been standing beside my pillow, off her feet in the process. Sorry. I quickly propped her back up with my hand. Jeez, don't get up so unexpectedly. Sorry, but what were you doing there? Waking you up, obviously. Don't you normally call out to me from afar? Yeah, sometimes I don't. Well, whatever. Oops, the time. You'll still make it. Weren't you supposed to wake me up? Did you do anything to me after all? Huh? I was just looking at your sleeping face for a bit. Why would you do something like that? Because I wanted to. No biggie, right? Now, where did you learn a phrase like that? Come on, get up and get yourself ready. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't make her wait. I got ready as I was told, but when I was done, it was still a little too early to go out. I wanted to minimize my exposure to the rain, so I thought about how to kill some time. I looked out the window to check the status outside. The rain was still really weak. I figured the rain wouldn't be much of a hindrance even if I arrived a little early. There's still some time left. Are you leaving already? Yeah, I am. Then can you do me a little favor? A favor? As long as it's within reasonable bounds. Want me to bring you along? It's nothing like that. Can you put me on your shoulder for a second? You sure you're not asking me to take you along? Yes, I'm sure. Just do it. Oh well. As told, I placed Forney on my shoulder. Oh! She supported herself by holding onto my ear and chuckled in a low voice. Hey, that tickles! Endure it! Why should I? This is pointless. There is a point! I suddenly felt something touch my cheek. It was only for an instant, like a strand of hair that grazed my cheek in the wind. When I turned to look, Forney had already flown down to the nearby desk and looked up at me. Okay, be careful now. What did you just do? Secret. Secret? Oh, come on. Just go already. Okay, I'll ask again when I come back. Sure, see you. Oddball. I left behind the peculiar fairy and headed for the trattoria. It was still a bit early when I arrived in front of the coper. The rain was still weak, so it posed no problems to wait outside. After a while, the door opened and Fal came out. Sorry for the wait. You should have come inside. It's no big deal waiting out here. I glanced up at the sky, confirming once more the frailty of the rain. I see, but there's no point standing around here getting even more wet. Let's go. No need to shop? I did that before work. I can start immediately when we get back. Are you hungry? Somewhat. I haven't had anything since noon. Good. I'm hungry too, so I'll get started right away. I'm looking forward to it. Being able to eat truly delicious food with the person I wanted to eat it with the most might have been what made me truly happy right now. It was probably a trivial thing to most, a kind of happiness some people would ridicule me for. But there must have been some people who felt the same way. All the while, wishing the girl in front of me was one of those people. I spent time with her that I would surely treasure forever. Okay, now that we're both full, let's start practicing. After a brief after-dinner rest, we returned to our main objective. While I was still wondering about what Fal was so worried about, all I could do for now was to try and put up the best performance I could. I set up the foretell I brought along and was all set to go. Ready when you are. Let's do the same thing we did this morning. It might all be my imagination after all. I hope it is. Yeah, then let's begin. With that, we began our performance. My fingers moved. My form wasn't bad. In fact, it was pretty good. Yet, even I felt there was something missing now. Something on an emotional level. Too abstract to put into words. With that dominating my mind, I could no longer focus properly. Fal stopped singing and glanced at me with worry in her eyes. Chris? I'm sorry. Not feeling well after all? Perhaps. Are you okay? I didn't doubt she was genuinely concerned about me, but her true anxieties must have been aimed at the recital the day after tomorrow. I think so. I hope you're right. I'm sorry for disappointing you at such a crucial time. Oh, no! It's no big deal, don't worry. Only the actual graduation recital is important. I could say nothing in return, so I just nodded. Just
Just tell her you love her. This is the whole point, or not the point, but this is the whole problem.
We continued rehearsing, and by the time I decided to go home, it was almost midnight. After making some plans to practice again tomorrow, we went to the front door. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, things might change after a good night's sleep. Yeah. See ya. Oh, wait! What is it? Did something happen? Nothing in particular. Really? She gave me a questioning glance, her face closing in on mine in the process. I could feel her breath on my nose as she continued. If something happened, you can tell me. We told each other things before, didn't we? Yeah, I know. I'm serious, you know. I noticed my cheeks growing hot. That was because I suddenly recalled what happened in the practice room. I was sure she wouldn't push me away if I wrapped my arms around her now. Having noticed the change in me, her face reddened and she took a few steps backward. I'm sorry. That's alright. She made a face as though she'd suddenly realized something. Perhaps she just figured out the answer to the question herself. The mood became a little awkward after that. Neither of us felt like pursuing the subject further. Anyway, it's gotten pretty late, so I should leave. Okay. Oh, but can I ask you one last question? Go ahead. Chris, are you happy right now? Probably. I was taken aback by that sudden question, so I answered only vaguely at first, but corrected myself afterward. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm happy right now. Wait, didn't they say that they loved each other already? It's just that they haven't kissed yet? I don't remember. Ah! I see. Val averted her eyes and hung her head upon hearing my still slightly reserved answer. Only seconds later she raised her head again, with only her usual smile projected on her face. In effect, I had no idea what kind of face she'd been making at that moment. She's probably not sure of herself because you keep making it sound like you're not. My current level of fatigue could no longer be considered comfortable. I thoughtlessly dried my hair again with the towel by the door and dropped onto my bed. Forney must have had vanished already. There had been no words of welcome or good night from her. Oh no, is she gone already? Oh no. When I woke up, my fatigue was gone. This was likely due to my nap yesterday, but I wondered how Fal was doing right now. However, I smiled wryly to myself, knowing that I was probably worrying for nothing. I then glanced at the clock to confirm the time. 9:40. Since Forney hadn't woken me up yet, I thought I still had some time to spare. Forney? There was no reply. I idly wondered if fairies sometimes overslept as well, but realized I didn't have the time for that. I quickly got myself ready and went out. I'm off! Forney's not there anymore! My preparations had only taken up 10 minutes, so there was no need for me to run. Not that I could take it easy either, but I would still make it if I walked at a moderately quick pace. Good morning! Good morning, Chris! Exchanging greetings, we began our individual preparations. I set up the music sheets in front of me and sat down behind the foretell and suddenly tensed up. Tomorrow's the big day, huh? Oh, yeah, you're right. Do you know the details? Those should be written on the campus bulletin board, but there's no need to worry. It's just foretell recitals tomorrow. I never... Oh my god, what is going on with me today? I never really thought about it until now, but the foretell recitals were on Friday, and the other departments had their recitals roughly in the week after that. Torta would probably be up sometime next week. There were almost 200 students in total in a single grade, but there were also departments that didn't have recitals, like the poetry department. Furthermore, Fortel students generally paired with with vocalists, so in essence, there were maybe 30 pairs per day. While it was allowed to pair with someone outside the vocal department, this was hardly ever done, so those numbers were probably close. So, when are we up? Oh, your name was written first in the afternoon program, so we are up at 1:30. I see. So we're up first in the afternoon, huh? You didn't check? I was too focused on practice. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Jeez. Anyway, the practice rooms are open tomorrow, so let's meet at the usual time to get some practice in before the recital. Roger. So, what do we do today? Practice until we're satisfied, I suppose. Satisfied, huh? Just checking, but who's going to decide that? Both of us, of course. Roger that. Then let's begin. Okay, here we go. Oh boy. Shoot. Ah. Okay, I messed up. I always mess up at that very last part. But at least I do it. I do it! The performance ended, and before we could comment on each other, Fal casually asked, "Wanna go for another round?" You know what? Sure. Oh wait, no. No, I'm supposed to stop. Whew. Nah, I think this is good enough. Apparently, we had been so focused on our rehearsal that we hadn't kept track of the time. It would be detrimental to tomorrow's performance if I got myself exhausted now, so I decided to release my hands from the keyboard. You're right. The performance was at a tolerable level. All minor mistakes had been ironed out, and our rendering of the piece and tempo had been perfectly synchronized. Really? Let's leave it at this for today, Val said tiredly. She must have been exhausted by now. Are you tired? Just a little. There's nothing to worry about, she said as she began cleaning up. I didn't want to keep her waiting, so I did the same. After we finished, we were about to leave the room. We're about to leave the room, I said. Hey, shall I walk you home today? Huh? I'm just a little worried, that's all. Worried? Work and practice must be murder on your body. You sure you're alright? Thanks, you're right. I have to make a little side trip before I can go home, though. Don't tell me you're taking requests again. Of course not. Anyway, won't you come to my room today? Huh? Didn't you have to go somewhere else? Yeah, but I wanted to talk to you afterward. Talk to me? Like about tomorrow and about after that. You're right. I don't mind if you're okay with it. Here's the key to my room. Make yourself at home. Are you sure? I trust you. But don't go snooping around too much, okay? Got it. Oh boy. Oh no. Ah! I accepted the key and parted with Val in the hallway. She apparently had to go someplace on campus. I watched her leave, hoping it really wasn't another request, then left for her house. Sorry to intrude, I called out before stepping inside. It wasn't the first time I'd come here, but now that I was alone, it made me a bit nervous. To enter a girl's room on your own wasn't a chance you would often get in your life. I wondered what she wanted to talk to me about. About the future, she said. My heart began to race at the thought. I realized it was bad form to snoop around, but I couldn't stop my eyes from restlessly wandering about. I mean, as long as you don't dig through stuff, I guess it's fine. There really isn't much stuff in this room. I'd had that impression before, but now that I was here alone, it became especially glaring. It didn't bother me as much before with Val in the room, but with me being able to see her as she was cooking dinner. As I let my train of thoughts run like that, I aimlessly loitered around the room. I wasn't calm enough to be able to sit still in a chair for more than a few minutes. Huh? What's that? A bundle of sheets left in disorder on top of the table entered my field of vision. With my curiosity piqued, I decided to check it out, despite knowing I really shouldn't. Looks like some sort of notice. At that moment, I realized it wasn't Val's handwriting. To be frank, the handwriting wasn't exactly pretty. Was she asked to correct this? More requests after all. Wondering if I couldn't help her out with this when she returned, I picked up the sheets of paper, curious as to their contents. I skimmed them a bit and concluded it must have been a paper of sorts analyzing some part of musical history I remembered having received as homework once. When I read a bit further, I noticed something odd. There were musical symbols written in pretty curves here and there on the pages, seemingly having been written by a different person altogether. And then, I recalled having seen these symbols before not too long ago. Is this Val's handwriting? The musical symbols and characters were exceedingly neat, yet everything else was sloppy, as though it was written by someone else. I noticed another set of sheets on the desk and picked them up. There was nothing written on the first few pages, but the rest was closely packed with single words. Sort of like the worksheets I used to use when learning to read and write when I was little. The same words and phrases were repeated endlessly in clumsy handwriting. Could this be really Val's handwriting? Come to think of it, when I helped her copy scores once, she did mention her handwriting wasn't very good. At the time, I could have only assumed she was joking. Had had being an orphan really impacted her development to such an extent? Well, that's rude. On the very bottom page of the pack, the handwriting was almost painful to look at. The further you went up, the better it became. It had gotten to a level you still couldn't call good even as flattery, like the stuff I'd felt awkward about just now. She's such a hard worker. Those were all the words I could think of. It certainly wasn't just talent that had made her so dependable and skillful. In fact, her starting line had been numerous skill levels below other people, yet due to hard work, she'd been able to make it to where she is now. I returned the bundle of paper to its original state and sat down on a chair. I wondered how to express this emotion welling up within me. It might be a bit different from love. Oh, okay. But all I could think of was whether or not there was something I could do for her. But what could I do? She had told me of her dreams of becoming a professional on that deserted stage. How she wanted to live by singing. There was something I could do right now. It was to stand on that stage together with her tomorrow and put up the best performance I had ever given. That was all. I'm home. Are you here, Chris? Yup, I'm here, I answered in a small voice, which she might not have heard, as it seemed she only first noticed me when she came into the room. Ah, thank goodness. I'm home. Welcome back, I said brightly and turned toward her. Are you hungry? Shall I make you something to eat? That's okay, you must be tired. I'm asking if you're hungry. I'm hungry. Very well, then wait here for a sec. As I watched her from behind, the room that had felt so bleak before suddenly regained its color. The world is becoming colorful when she's around. Huh! After a peaceful lunch, we had something warm to drink while gossiping about nothing in particular. Fel had changed out of her uniform into something more casual. She had yet to touch on the matter she'd said she wanted to discuss with me. Right when I stopped caring either way, Fel looked over her shoulder at the clock on the wall. She let out a deep sigh, then languidly got on her feet. She walked up to the windowsill and gazed at the incessant downpour outside. Without looking back, she inquired, "Hey, Chris, how do you feel about me?" Perplexed at that sudden question, I had to search for an answer for a moment. I knew I could give her the answer she was hoping for. Have you ever thought of me as someone cruel? Huh? Before I could answer, Fel threw me another question. No, I've never thought of you as that. Really? Really. But you know, I've been committing many cruelties all along. You don't believe me? I don't believe you. I thought so. With that, she finally averted her eyes from the scenery outside and faced me. What's wrong? Why ask me all of that all of a sudden? Or why ask me that all of a sudden? No reason. Hey, can I sit beside you? Another unrelated question out of nowhere. She went to sit beside me without waiting for my response. Hey, Chris? What? Her face came closer. Do you like me? The crucial question finally came. I'd been expecting it to a certain extent. The answer to it was already engraved into my heart. All that remained was to put it into words. Yeah, I like you. I see. Thanks. Are they finally gonna do it? She closed her eyes. I knew what I had to do. It wasn't a first for me, but my extreme nervousness had made my lips dry. I licked them a few times, then gently pressed my lips to hers. Yay! Finally! Our contact lasted for but a fraction of a moment. Through a mixture of embarrassment and affection, I suddenly felt like embracing her. In fact, it was probably natural to do so right now, but the girl beat me to the punch. One more time. As we sat embracing each other, my lips met hers again. Anyone home? Oh gosh, I had a feeling I could hear a voice in the distance. Oh, what is this? Huh? Fal released me and turned her gaze to the origin of the voice. What the hell is this? Asino. What? I turned my head in the direction Fal was looking and saw Asino standing there. I had no idea what he was saying or what he was doing here in the first place. It all went beyond my comprehension. All I could do was look on in blank amazement. You told me I could you told me I'd understand if I came here. So that's what you meant. I'm sorry, you're exactly right. I demand an explanation. What's to explain? I like Chris. That's why I asked him to be my partner, not you. I could have told you in words, but I figured this would make it more clear for you. Val, what are you talking about? What was the meaning of this? My gaze jumped between the two of them, but neither ever looked in my direction. Asino, what's the meaning of this? Be quiet! Just shut the hell up! Stop yelling! Sorry, I've just been using you. Using me? I only became acquainted with you because I wanted to know more about Chris, but I truly am grateful to you. Next to me, Fal extended her arm and gently caressed my cheek. Oh gosh. I don't even know what to think about this. The croquet-ish nature sent a shiver down my spine. I leaned away from the smiling girl and slowly removed her hand from my face. Fal? Why Chris? Why is everyone so fixated on him? Miss Cordell, you... Everyone has their reasons. But I'm... What? I'm a nobleman, and yet you're saying I'm inferior to Chris? Haven't I ever told you I hated that way of thinking? But I'm different. You're different? How are you any different? Chris, did you hear that? I told him I didn't give a damn about his nobility, yet he's still insisting he's superior to you. Just stop it! Please, someone explain to me what's going on, I beg of you. No, I didn't say that. But you did. Oh, what an odd thing to say. My ears certainly didn't deceive me. I didn't say that, just why Chris of all people? Weren't you just using him as well? You even said so yourself. Using me? That's not true. We were friends. No, we are friends, after all. Didn't you tell me you only befriended him because you felt he could be of worth to you? Those were not your true feelings? If you're just going to pretend to be cynical about everything, you might as well not bother in the first place. But all you have going for you is that cheap sense of pride you can only barely keep in by acting like that's why you're worthless to me. Asino looked on like a child who'd just had his candy stolen. As he powerlessly reclined against the wall, he no longer spoke. Were these two acting out some kind of play? Would they start laughing if I cried out, telling me it had all been a joke? You too. This is some sort of joke, right? I'm sorry, Chris. This is all real. You're lying. Chris, this awful person was your friend. Aren't you happy to know the truth? No, Chris, it's not like that. Like I said, just explain this to me, please, Asino. I stood up and walked up to Asino. He trembled for an instant as he looked at my face. I didn't mean to do it. No, that's not what I meant. This is a joke, right? You two are just trying to fool me, right? Asino just shook his head. Why would you pull such an elaborate prank? Tell me, Fal. Like I said, this isn't a joke. Understand, Chris, this is the truth. I know you don't want to believe it, but both Asino and I are cruel human beings. That is all. Fal said directly, as though she were making idle chit-chat. Her tone was oddly gentle, which had the opposite effect of creeping me out. And while it was difficult to swallow, it began to dawn on me that all of this was indeed real. Until now, I would have never imagined I could ever feel this way about her. Only minutes ago I kissed her, embraced her, told her I liked her. But now I saw a completely different person in front of me. Does that mean you've been deceiving me all along? Exactly. And Asino? Yeah, I used him too. He was of great help to me though it seems he misunderstood a few things. If only he'd kept his distance, he might have become a good friend. Just shut up, Fal! Why do you say things like that? I don't understand. Didn't I just tell you? I'm a cruel human being. Just when I was about to respond to that, I heard something slide against the wall behind me. Asino had gotten up to his feet, using the wall to support himself. I'm going home. Wait! Asino, we're not done yet! Stay away! Just leave me alone, please. I'm sorry. Sorry about what? I tried to use you. It's just as she says. I don't care about that. Weren't you being used as well? You should care, Chris. I'm really sorry, so please leave me alone. Asino. I'm glad you were willing to forgive me. Without a sound, Asino opened the door and went out. What's going on? My body would no longer move. My entire world had suddenly come crumbling down. I was left behind in the room. Even breathing had become painful, as I was tormented by countless questions in my head. If only I turned around, I would find the answer to many of those questions, but I found myself unable to. Chris, a gentle voice came forth behind me. Mustering the little strength I had left, I turned my body to face her. Sorry I had to come to this so suddenly. Why? Why would you do something like this? It's just like I said. I became close to him in order to become close to you. I just used him. Why? Because I liked you. Liar. It's the truth. That's why I investigated you, and why we're here right now. You investigated me? Why would you have to do that? It was the only method I could think of. You're lying. Then why would you expose yourself to me? Wouldn't it have been better to keep your mouth shut? Just what is the truth and what is a lie? I've only been telling you the truth since a while ago. I just wanted you to know the real me. That you're a cruel human being? Then why didn't you just tell me so? Why did you need to hurt Asino as well? I did tell you. You didn't believe me. Of course I didn't. After all, she was so diligent and gentle and eager and... See? This was necessary to make it clear to you. It wasn't necessary. It was to me. Hey, how do you feel about me? I wanted you to know me, to know that I am a woman capable of doing these things. Why? Because I wanted you to tell me you liked me in spite of that. I wondered if those were her true feelings. But even if they were, I wasn't sure I could still say I liked her. This was just so... This has all just been so ridiculous. In a corner of my mind, I still held on to the sliver of hope that this had all been a bad joke. It wasn't too late. If she smiled at me and told me it was all a joke now, everything would still end peacefully. Can I ask you one more time? Go ahead. This is some sort of joke, right? This is the truth. Sorry for crushing your hopes. Why me? You were lying when you told me you liked me, right? I do like you, Chris. Why? Because of the tones of your foretell. Your tones hold a charm that is unparalleled. It is something no one could ever mimic. It is second to none. I knew it had to be you. The moment I first heard it. With you, I could make it to the top. It was all to fulfill my dreams. So in the end, you were just using me as well. I guess so. That's also the truth. She admitted casually and resumed her stream of words. But isn't it only natural for people to use one another? Even the person from the Institute who discovered me is using me for his needs. I simply joined in on that. I got exempt from tuition, a cheap place to live, and I learned how to sing. In return, I will continue to ascend in this world. If I do so, I will raise the status of the person who recommended me as well. A win-win situation, no? That's just wrong. What is? Everything is. But it's the way I've been living, and intend to continue to live, and I need your cooperation to do so. Then your way of handling it is wrong. Yeah, I think so too. She honestly admitted and shook her head. What? Didn't I tell you? I wanted you to tell me you liked me in spite of my nature. She had a serious expression on her face. If only I could read minds. Her words seemed so believable that I was starting to resort to making such foolish wishes. Actually, I had already pretty much started to believe her. If she was lying now, there had been no point in bringing Asino over. The moment I realized this, my chest began to hurt. She did this for something as stupid as that? She hurt Asino for that? But then again, to her, this might have been something extremely important. That's why I'm telling you the truth, showing you what kind of person I am, and saying I want to continue with you in spite of that. I will ask you again, Chris. Will you come with me? Fal walked up to me and leaned her face close to mine like before. Chris, do you like me? I couldn't answer, even though it was the same question as before. Then, do you hate me? I responded with silence to that as well. I hadn't even had enough time to fully wrap my head around the current state of affairs. There was no way I could get my feelings in order that quickly. So you won't answer? I don't want to be used. Then, why don't you just use me as well? I don't want to use you either. Really? For nothing? For nothing. But just minutes ago you said you liked me, didn't you? Isn't there even a morsel of that sentiment left in you? If you don't answer, I suppose I can get my hopes up. She said, and began to strip out of her clothes right in front of my eyes. What? Soon all that remained on her was a thin camisole, as the white skin of the exposed girl burned itself into my retina. I immediately averted my eyes. Stop it. I won't. Hey. She cooed into my ear after having drawn even closer to me. You can use me. I already said I liked you. And so did you just a while ago. Shut up! I don't want to be used, and I don't want to use you. Everyone does it. I do. And so do you. The girl's arms gently wrapped themselves around my shoulders. Oh boy. Shut up! I let my anger get the better of me and roughly swept away her arms. Sorry. I promptly apologized, but went silent straight after and averted my eyes from her. The bed made some rhythmic creaking noises that gradually died down. The beating of my heart, on the other hand, gradually flared up, and my ears began to hurt despite it being quiet. I soon became accustomed to the silence and began to hear the girl's steady breathing. But I became unable to ignore the sight of the girl in the corner of my eye. She had collapsed onto the bed and was staring at me intently. But that is actually all of the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And don't forget to subscribe. That would mean the world to me. I will see you guys next time. Bye!